judges, my name is Taylor Tamblin, and I'm an affiliate for Marshmallow Productions. And I'm seeking a $10 million investment for our product, the hydrogen fuel cell. As we all know, our planet is dying. And with the research of our Marshmallow affiliates, we've come to the conclusion that our best option is to travel to Mars and use our hydrogen fuel cell in order to power our society.
So what exactly is a fuel cell? Well, it's kind of like a battery, except it doesn't have to be recharged and it won't run down. A fuel cell has three main parts: the anode, the cathode, and the electrolyte membrane. This technology works by passing hydrogen through the anode and distributing oxygen through the cathode. Within the anode, the hydrogen splits into electrons and protons. The positively charged hydrogen ions and protons go through the electrolyte membrane, while the electrons go through an external circuit to create our electrical charge or energy. The hydrogen ions that pass through the electrolyte membrane ends up on the cathode side, where they combine with oxygen to produce the byproduct of water. So basically, this process only produces electricity, heat, and water. I know that was a whole lot of science talk, but the bottom line is that these fuel cells are highly efficient and they truly are designed to produce the maximum amount of energy with no pollutants or CO2 produced. Michaela and Michael will now fill you in on some more information about these fuel cells.
Like everything, there are pros and cons to hydrogen fuel cells. One of the main disadvantages of fuel cells is that in order to produce the hydrogen needed to fuel them, hydrogen, which is found on Earth, only with companion elements, needs to be separated from the other elements. There are three main ways to carry out this process. With the process of reforming, natural gas or oil, which contains hydrocarbons, is separated using heat so that the hydrogen can be harvested. As a result, hydrogen fuel cells do indirectly require the use of fossil fuels. This process is quite complicated, and since it requires the use of fossil fuels, it costs a lot of money to separate hydrogen so that it can be used to fuel the hydrogen cells.
The second way to separate hydrogen atoms is electrolysis. Through the process of electrolysis, hydrogen atoms are split from water molecules. This process is much simpler but still requires capital. Now on to the final method. There is a way to get rid of having to use the processes of electrolysis and reforming, and thus the use of fossil fuels. If the hydrogen is produced by splitting water with energy obtained from renewable sources, such as wind turbines or solar panels, then the entire fuel cycle is sustainable indefinitely, and barely any CO2 will be produced. This technique is what the Marshmallows associates are planning on implementing on Mars if we have the means to.
In the grand scheme of things, when looking at the amount of energy produced and its efficiency, the positives completely outweigh the negatives. The only byproducts of this method of energy conversion is water and heat. No carbon emissions or air pollutants are emitted at all from the conversion of hydrogen into energy using the fuel cell. Therefore, they do not contribute to the greenhouse effect, and no health problems will arise from this energy conversion. This is extremely important, as once again, we don't want to pollute Mars's atmosphere like we did to Earth.
Hydrogen fuel cells currently in production have a life expectancy from 5,000 to 10,000 hours for only $40 per kilowatt hour. If we apply that to an average driving speed of 45 miles per hour, we should expect to get 200,000 to 400,000 miles.
In addition, fuel cells are way more efficient than diesel generators and normal internal combustion engines. They have 2 to 3 times the efficiency of a traditional combustion engine, and they're able to generate electricity with a 65% efficiency rate as compared to conventional combustion, which only produces energy with a 33% efficiency. Therefore, hydrogen fuel cells are obviously more economically viable as they produce more energy and are far more energy efficient.
So, Sharks, with your $10 million investment and 15% share of our company, you're going to help pioneer the colonization of Mars via hydrogen fuel cells.